Sometimes, at night, when you look up at the sky from your roof or your balcony, do you ever feel like you're alone? Have you ever paused and wondered, these countless stars, the moon, the wind, how did all of this begin? Who created it all? This is a question that lives in the heart of every human being. We often think, in the beginning, there was just darkness and emptiness, right? But hold that thought. What if I told you, in the beginning, there was no emptiness? Instead, there was everything. Imagine a vast, boundless, silent ocean. It has water, but there are no waves, there are no shores, just profound peace. Our ancient wisdom, the Vedas, calls this the supreme consciousness. It's not male, not female, not light, not dark. It is simply being. This is the purest, original state of God, the very love that later created the universe. This mystery, friends, is both very sweet and very simple. Our knowledge tells us that this infinite ocean, this supreme consciousness, one day, suddenly, smiled. Or you could say, it made its first vibration. A small, divine heartbeat. Science calls this the Big Bang, but we will call it God's first desire. This desire became a sound that no one heard, but which shook everything into existence. This is that most sacred sound, which we now call AUM, or OM. AUM is not just a chant. It is the first, oldest, and most beautiful echo of our entire cosmos. The moment the sound of AUM arose, it also gave birth to time. Before that, time simply didn't exist. But now, with this first heartbeat, things began to happen, one after the other. This initial moment was so perfect, so sacred, that if there had been even a tiny mistake in the balance of forces, this entire universe would never have formed. Just as a mother makes no mistake in creating her child, this supreme consciousness created every particle with absolute care and precision. Tiny particles were formed, protons, electrons, the smallest building blocks of everything, including our bodies. And right there, time began writing its story. After that, the universe was filled only with darkness for millions of years. Picture it, just a black night stretching out in every direction. But then, the supreme consciousness had another desire. Let there be light, piercing the darkness. And then, the first light spread. This wasn't the light we get from the sun. It was the oldest and coolest light in the universe. Our Vedas refer to this as Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, meaning, lead us from darkness to light. This first light is still traveling throughout the sky today. It serves as a reminder for us that after every dark night, a divine morning is guaranteed.
Now in the darkness, the gases, these huge balloons of air, began to crash into each other and gather. When they gathered intensely, so much heat was generated inside them that they began to burn. And just like that, the first star was born, like a lamp being lit. This is the Agni Tattva, fire element, that we revere. If these stars hadn't formed, what would have happened? Would we also not exist? Yes, we wouldn't. These stars are not just burning lights. They are the kitchen of the cosmos. They are constantly cooking something inside their fiery cores. Just as the fire of a yajna, sacred fire ritual, burns continuously, these stars keep burning. When a star gets old and its time is up, it explodes with a massive, powerful blast, a supernova. And when it explodes, all the cooked iron, carbon, and even gold inside it is scattered throughout the cosmos. And here is the biggest secret. You, me, your bones, your blood, all of it is the ash of that exploded star. Scientists call us stardust. Our rishis call us a fragment of Brahman, God. It's the same truth. Every particle in your eye was, once upon a time, burning inside a star millions of miles away. So, are we just a body? No. Our body is made of that stardust, but where did our soul come from? Our soul is a small portion of that infinite silent ocean, the supreme consciousness. Think of it like a single drop from the ocean. The drop is not separate from the ocean, but it now exists in a form. Our soul is the awakened spark of that very consciousness. That is why, when we look at the stars in the sky, we feel a sweet and deep connection. Why? Because they are our ancestors, our old home. Millions of years later, the clouds of gas and dust gathered in one spot, and our sun was born. In our culture, the sun is not just a star. It is the father of life. We treat it as a deity. The sun's heat and light are what have stabilized our entire solar system. And with the steady heartbeat of that beloved sun, our Mother Earth began to take shape. Our Earth formed in the perfect place. Not too close so it would burn to ashes, and not too far so it would freeze into ice. God placed the distance perfectly. This is the balance that we call the Ritu seasonal balance. Just think, if there was even a 1% error, life here would have been impossible. This was no coincidence. It was a divine design, a miracle that turned our planet into the cradle of life. And then, in the deep waters of the oceans, the first life was born, a tiny, naked cell. Science says this happened due to certain chemical reactions, but we know it was the touch of God. That supreme consciousness, for the first time, touched that inert matter and filled it with life. Both statements are true. Consciousness and matter work together to make life possible. Slowly over time, that small cell changed. First, creatures of the water, then plants and trees, then land animals, and finally, us humans. This evolution was not a random event. It was a loving design, a plan leading us towards consciousness and love. Our scriptures say that creation operates on two powers: Purusha, our soul, and Prakriti, our body and the material world. From the Big Bang until today, this entire universe is the result of the eternal dance between Purusha and Prakriti. Today, this universe is expanding. Everything is moving away from each other. But this won't last forever. Just as a person is born, lives, and passes away, this universe also moves in a cycle. This expansion will eventually stop. Our scriptures say this universe does not end, it just changes form. Just as day follows night and night follows day, so too does creation move in a rhythm. This is the truth behind the three deities we worship: Brahma, who creates, Vishnu, who sustains, and Shiva, who reabsorbs this form back into himself. These are not just stories, they are the greatest truths of the cosmos. So now you know who you are. You are made of stardust, and your soul is made of supreme love. You are no ordinary person. You are the greatest miracle of this universe.